Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Too Much Tech. My name is Kyle. Today I want to let you guys know about the best controller for Xbox, at least.
That's it.
Don't worry, there's one for PS4. There's actually a new one for PS4 coming out that we're going to talk about later. Right now we're going to talk about the Razer Wolverine Tournament Edition for Xbox One. What makes this controller, I guess, so good for Xbox One? By now we should all know that controllers with paddles on the back are at least twice as good as controllers without them. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of refuse to play any first or third person competitive shooter or whatever without the paddles on the back, because it is so very crucial to be able to jump and move around and aim and whatever at the same time. Jumping is number one, and then there's always like a secondary action that's like almost equally as important depending on like what game you're playing. Like if you're playing Destiny 2, it might be dodging or meleeing or something. If you're playing Fortnite, it's probably jumping and building. If you're playing Call of Duty, it's probably jumping and meleeing. So it's always really important to make sure that you have those pedals on the back, because they're going to give you a competitive edge. And being able to jump and aim and do all those things at the same time without taking your fingers off the thumbsticks is really going to improve your game quite a bit. So with that being said, how many paddles does the Razer Wolverine have? So the Razer Wolverine Ultimate Edition is not an entirely different controller. It's a little bit different, and there are some reasons why I didn't buy the controller. I'll get to that in a second, but there's actually two paddles on the back of this one. So the Tournament Edition has two paddles on the back. Ultimate Edition has four. I'll leave it at that. I'll put a picture on the screen so you guys can see how different it is, but I didn't get the Ultimate Edition for durability reasons. I don't plug my headset into my controller, so the little controls at the bottom I wasn't really worried about. More so from a durability standpoint, these flatter paddles, I'm hoping that they're going to be a lot more durable over time, because other controllers that I've used have only lasted maybe like a year and a half with some heavy use, and I really hope that this is going to last a lot longer. I've had this for a few months now. It's worked really good. I've had no issues, so hopefully it stays that way. Now, as far as the controller, it looks really good. It's got the RGB lighting from Razer that you can control with Razer Synapse on the Xbox One app. That's basically the only way to control the lighting and modify like the buttons and stuff. So if you're buying this for PC gaming, I really hope you have an Xbox, because without it, you will not be able to change the two pedals on the back and the two buttons next to the bumpers and the triggers. It also has trigger stops, which can really help when you're playing, like, I don't know, Call of Duty or Destiny or whatever. You have a semi-automatic weapon and you want to shoot it faster, or if you just want your trigger pull to happen sooner, then you turn on the trigger stops, and basically it just happens a lot sooner. The travel distance isn't really there. It travels about half as much compared to a full travel. So I'm glad that it's really easy to make it work. There's just a little switch. You hit the little switch, on, off, done, just like that. The trigger stop is on, trigger stop is off. So if you're playing a driving game and you need the trigger to go all the way down, you just turn it off. If you're playing a first-person shooter, turn it back on, just like that. Super easy. The buttons on the face are super duper clicky. It's kind of like a mechanical mouse. That's like the closest thing that I can relate it to. It feels like my Death Adder like mouse actuation. That's pretty much how it feels. It's cool. I like the sound. I can hardly ever hear it anyways because I'm wearing a headset or, you know, listening to the game. So I'm not really listening to the controller, but it's cool. It's there. Whatever. Now, as far as the feel of the controller, on the sides, it has like these little rubberized grips that are very similar to the Xbox One Elite controller. It's cool. I like it. Adds a little bit of grip, so you don't really have to worry about that dropping your controller or anything like that. But the front is still like the regular Xbox finish. It's kind of slippery. The D-pad is just like the 4 individual directional buttons. So I wouldn't recommend this for fighting games. Maybe like everything else but fighting games. Because if you use that D-pad during fighting games, you're not going to want this controller. You're probably going to want to go for the Tournament Edition, because you can change out the D-pad as well as the thumbsticks. Now, the only thing that I don't really I guess love about the controller is that the controller is wired. Basically on Xbox, the only way to get a wireless controller is to buy the official Microsoft one. That's the only way. So either that, or you can buy one of Scuff or Battle Beavers or whoever's modified original Xbox controllers. That's the only way to get basically a paddle controller that's also going to be wireless, because everything else that's third party, like 100% made by a third party company, is going to be wired. And that's the only thing that I don't love. The thing that I like about having a wired controller is that the wire is really, really long. So if you play in a really big room or really far away from wherever your Xbox is, you're not gonna have to worry about not having a long enough cord, because I believe it's like 6 or 9 feet or something like that. And then you also don't have to worry about charging it or having the controller die on you in the middle of a game. So that's really, really annoying, and I think that kind of outweighs the controller being wireless, because I play really close to my setup anyways, and I want as least amount of input lag as possible. So having a wired controller really is not that big of a deal to me. Other than that, I like the controller a lot. It's very comfortable to use. It might be really weird at first to get used to the pedals, but give it like 48 hours and you'll be good to go. It'll be muscle memory. Even like the little buttons next to the bumpers and triggers, those will be really easy too. So just make sure that you give it a fair shot. Give it longer than like a day or two, and it'll become part of your game and it'll feel natural. And then regular controllers are gonna feel weird. Trust me, they will. You won't want to use a regular controller again after using this or any of its PlayStation counterparts. But anyways, that's gonna be it for the video today, guys. Thank you so much for coming through to the channel. If you guys are new, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, help your boy out. We're trying to grow out here, okay? Drop a like if you enjoy. Turn that bell on for notifications so you know when I upload a new video. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Did everything I just said, and yeah, have a good day.